Hello! Today I'm going to talk to you about cleaning and lubing your AR15 rifle using Froglube. The AR15 rifle has become the new American iconic rifle, similar to the 1873 Winchester, the M1 carbine, each generation having their specialty. There are hundreds of thousands of the AR15 that have been sold in the United States, and again, this has become an iconic rifle for the avid sportsman. So today I'm going to show you the takedown and cleaning using one of my favorite products, Froglube. I have no affiliation whatsoever with Froglube. I just happen to like their products. I've tested them. And this film actually came as a result of some questions from some avid AR-15 shooters who wanted to know how it held up in a number of situations, especially putting a lot of rounds down range through the AR-15 between cleanings. I committed to putting at least 400 or 500 rounds through the AR-15 between cleanings, and I'll clean it today for you. And I actually put in about 700 rounds just to show what it looked like. So I hope you enjoy this, find it informative, and for those who have never taken down an AR-15 before, you'll find out how simple it is. Thank you. First, I'm going to tell you about the two Froglube products. The first one is the solvent, and you would only use this basically the first time you were going to clean your handgun or your rifle, because it's basically a degreaser. It has the consistency and smell of water, but I can assure you it's not water. So before you'd use the regular Froglube cleaner and lube, you'd want to make sure you clean the gun thoroughly with the solvent. We're not going to use that today because this gun has been thoroughly lubed with Froglube and fired 700 rounds. So we're going to set that aside. This is the Froglube CLP, and as I said, it is a cleaner and a lube. Okay, so we have a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 5.56, 223, however you want to look at it. Very, very standard AR-15. And very easy to take down. Before we take it down, we want to make sure the weapon is on safe, which it is. We're going to remove the mag, and we're going to check the chamber. There is nothing in the chamber. There are no rounds in there, so you always want to make sure your weapon is safe. This is going to be a little reversed, perhaps, because I have to point the gun the side of the frame towards me to take it down, but I think you'll be able to follow it. Okay, as I said, the AR-15 is very easy to take down. They all pretty much work the same way. I'm going to use a small lock tool as a push on the pins. There's two pins. There's a pin here near the fire safe selector, and a pin here that's a pivot pin. So the first thing I'm going to do is push that one through, and you can see it came through, and that allows the gun to pivot. The second pin here, and I'm going to push that through, okay, allows you to actually remove the upper from the lower. I'm going to set the lower aside for a moment, and we're going to concentrate on the upper, the most important piece here. Now that I've removed that, I can pull out the bolt carrier and the charging handle, okay. I think you can see both of those. And now I'm going to set the upper and the barrel aside because we're going to concentrate on this right now. Set that charging handle aside. Okay, so you have a couple of different pieces in here, and it's very, you can see it's very messy. It's this has been 700 rounds, and you'll see the wear and tear of that in a moment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this safety cotter pin here. Now, in order to get the bolt out, there's a little square here that you're going to turn part way and then get it into this position here, and then it'll just pop out. See? Take that out, and now there's your bolt. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty caked on. I'm going to give you a close-up. Hopefully you can see that, and you can see my hands are getting all messed up. Now, what do I use for cleaning? Everybody has their own cleaning methods, so I'm not going to basically tell you what to do, but I'm going to give you some, my tips. I use cut up cotton t-shirts, the ones that your wife says you can't wear anymore because she's embarrassed. So basically I cut them up into rags. You can get about 6 or 7 good rags out of them. I also use Q-tips to get into some detailed spots, and some brushes and things like that. So, okay, I have another old rag here that I use to basically catch the drippings. And what you're going to see me do first, I guess I'll work on the firing pin first so that you can see how dirty that is. I hope you can see how dirty that is. Okay. And what I'm going to do is take some of the Froglube and just spray it on there. Okay, and look at that, it just wipes off. And you get it nice and clean and silvery, absolutely. And it leaves a, you can see the rag is pretty dirty from that. You want to get around the neck of this here. Give it another little spritz right there. And remember, when you're cleaning and wiping this off, it's also leaving a lube without feeling oily or greasy like some of the other lubes that you may have tried. Okay, so now we have a completely clean and shiny firing pin. I'm going to set that aside. I can do the same with this little catch here. Clean that up, and that'll be cleaned and lubed. Okay, so I'm going to take that and set that aside, and my little pin here. I even do the pin. I'll just use a little of the excess that's dripped onto the rag there. Okay, now I'm going to set that there, and I think. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the bolt. I'm going to saturate that pretty good, spray down into the gas chamber there, whatever you want to call it. I'm not big on words of all the details of what all the parts are. I will tell you that there are these 3 rings that go around the part of the bolt, and they each have a little slot, and you want to make sure that those slots do not align, and that's to serve as a pressure stop. Basically, like, think of a gasket. If it had a slot in it, the pressure would get past that gasket. Well, if you have 3 gaskets and the slots are in different directions, it can't get past. So we've cleaned up the outer here, or have begun to, and I'm going to give that another spritz in there. And you'd be surprised how little of this you're actually using. Now, one of the things I like to do is I take a Q-tip and I take off some of the material of the Q-tip. You don't want it fat. You want to leave some material on there, but you definitely want to give it a little twist. put some Froglube on it, and I get it down in there. I might have a little too much, but part of the reason, and you'll see that's really filthy, part of the reason you want to take off a lot of that material is because if you leave it on, you will get the Q-tip stuck in there. And you can take this from me firsthand, as I have done that, getting in there to clean, and you can see all the carbon fouling that's coming on that. This is the area, like I said, you want to really pay attention to this and the bolt carrier. And don't be afraid to get a little messy here. Get the Q-tip, get the end, get in each of the slots there. You can see it's cleaning up just fine. Okay. And get in here. Going to take some of that excess off there. Get back into the gas channel there. Get it clean. And what you want to do is, make sure it's very cleaned. And they make special tool for cleaning these and cleaning the firing pin. I'm going to get that here. And that does is helps you get this carbon buildup. And it's here that most solvents just can't really get to. Here's the tool. Okay, and basically what you would do is you slide this in here, and it's almost like a small file. It kind of makes sure that there's no buildup there. There's so little buildup on here, it's really not touching it, but it doesn't hurt to do. And then I give it a little more Froglube and let that sit for a second. And what I do to try and get that down is I use one of the copper cleaning brushes that came with one of my handgun kits. And you can see, you get that off there. And like I say, everybody has their own method of cleaning and lubing, but like I said, I'm a strong proponent of the Froglube products because they don't leave any gunk behind. The guns don't feel oily. They operate flawlessly. Okay, that looks pretty good. There's no ridges or carbon buildup here that, and that was the other advantage of using Froglube, was it doesn't allow that carbon to build up as much as some other products. Okay, this is looking pretty clean. Let's get the end here again. Make sure, see? Very little coming back here. And I'm actually going to dab a little on the end of the bolt. Let's get in there again. I'm going to take off the excess material on the Q-tip. One more time. Wind it up so that it's going to slide in nice and easy. And you can see I'm getting very little. Oh, there was some deep. There we go. Get in here. And she's clean. One of the things I do on the bolt is I take a little on my finger, a little bit of Froglube, and I just kind of get the fins here lubed, get it all around the bolt. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before about the gas rings, I'm going to check that these rings are not lined up, and they're not. They're in 3 3, 6, and 9 position. They're not near each other. And you can see there's a little bit of lube on the bolt. Okay, so now the bolt carrier. The bolt carrier, clean that. Part of it you clean like you would a barrel. I spray some Froglube in it, down in where the bolt goes, in the gas tube. And basically, you can Froglube the whole thing. It's not going to hurt anything. Froglube is a natural product. It's biodegradable, all natural, non-toxic. I'm reading right off the bottle, actually. And I'm kind of cleaning up the outer here. Now, I want to get inside, and there's a couple things I want to do. One of the things I want to do is get this clean in here, and what I'll do is I'll actually just catch the rag and slide it through. And that lets me get inside the bolt carrier. Get it cleaned up in there. Get in the grooves. And, you know, as I mentioned before, you know, even when you're wiping this off, it's leaving a very, very fine, lubricated feeling to everything without being oily. As you see, it's not oily. Okay, pretty much cleaned up the outer. Now I'm going to treat this like I would treat a barrel. I'm going to get a patch. Let me get my patches. Okay, I'm going to get a patch. Get that set on there. I'm going to kind of saturate it a little bit, about 3 or 4 squirts. I'm going to slip that in there. It slips in very easily. Oh, look at that. Just comes right off. Get another patch. I buy these in bulk, so I don't mind using lots of patches until it's absolutely clean and lubed. Go right through there because it tightens up in there. You can see. One more should do it. Okay. She's pretty clean. But you can see how easily Froglube has made it to be able to clean it. You know, nothing's baked on. Okay, we're good. Alright, so we've done the bolt carrier, the firing pin, and I'm going to take just a little bit of, again, Froglube. I'll use a little piece of patch and put a little bit on there, and what I like to do is get it in any kind of groove or anything that's going to slide, and then not take it off, and it just prevents some of the wear. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, all the parts that make up the bolt and the bolt carrier, firing pin. Just see a little spot on here. There we go. Get my old garbage out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to work on the barrel and the upper. And I'm going to give this a spray inside, and I'm going to spray down the barrel both ways. Okay, let that kind of work in there. And much as I did before with the rag, I'm going to get it inside. Clean out any of the fouling. Don't worry about getting it on the outside of the gun because we'll be doing that also. And it's amazing because whatever's in here comes off just like it was just surface. There's no sticking or baking on to the surfaces because of the Froglube. So we're going to spray this on here really good because we want to coat that, get that barrel nice and clean. And we're going to go from the chamber end, not the other way, because we want to push things out. I'm going to push that right through. Go through again. You can see what it's doing. And actually I could put a whole patch through. Still getting stuff in there. I'm going to remove this tip and put on the brush, copper brush. And what the copper brush will do is get any fouling out of the grooves. There you go. One more through. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to the patches. I'm going to saturate that. Just want to get all of that stuff out. Now that we've used the brush. Oh yeah. Yep, you can see. And one more. And we're good. So we have cleaned and lubed the upper receiver. Get the excess out of here. It's not going to hurt anything, but why leave it messy? Okay. Now, what about the outside? Well, again, you can use a little patch, just one little squirt, spread it around. Do the outside. Won't hurt the rubber, won't hurt the plastic. Just a protective coating on the gun. I'm doing this quickly, you know. You'll see there's some copper that blows back, not copper, excuse me, fouling that blows back. And do the outside of the barrel. And protect it from any kind of rust or small scratches. Hey, it's a rifle, you know. I'll take a clean rag this time. We'll just get it nice and cleaned up. Get the excess off. And if you look, you can see when I clean that off, there's no residual shiny, oily kind of spots on there. It's just cleaned and lubed. It's almost like waxing your car. But better. Okay. So we're done with the barrel and the upper. Set that aside. Now, I am not going to take the lower apart. There's a few parts to it. I can take this off safe and hit the trigger. What I tend to do, unless I'm really doing a deep cleaning, is I will get some Froglube and just clean where there may be some residual powder fouling. Okay, you can see I get a little bit on the spring, and basically I get it down in the mechanism so that it stays lubed in there without being gunked. I can even get down there with a Q-tip and get things kind of cleaned up. Keep your gun looking new, operating correctly. Okay, and once the gun is fully reassembled, if you see any spots that you need to wipe off, you can. Okay, and we're going to put things back together. So, to put things back together, the first thing we're going to do is put the bolt back in the bolt carrier. So, the trick on getting this in is, if you'll notice, one of the fins is a little shorter than the other. You want to put that about in the 11 o'clock position, and that would put the band on the bottom and this straight area here on top. So you see that's the 11 o'clock position, and if you watch, see, it goes right in. And once it's in, you can line up the hole here and slip in. It's got to be pointed in that direction, and you pull it back and now turn it 90 degrees. At this point, you can now get your firing pin in and slide it in. See, it just dropped right in. And get this cotter pin in place. Boom, all the way in. She's good. Okay. Once that's in place, in order to get it back in the gun, this portion is going to go inward for the gas cock, and there's your charging handle. And I almost forgot, we like to put a little lube on the charging handle, since that rubs when you want to have anything that's moving metal lubed and cleaned. Forgot to clean it, but it's okay. This video's long enough. Okay, I'm going to slide that in there so that it drops in. I'm going to put the bolt in too. And look at that. They just popped right in. And they're in there. Okay, now to get it back on the blower, show you. Just get the pin back in. And I'll have to go out off camera to do this so that, okay, see that one pushed right back in. Let's get the hammer back down. Say, well, that's not closing. Why? Oh, because the pin's in the way. There we go. Push it back in. You're good to go. Pull the charging panel back, lock it. You can see everything's empty and clean. Let it go. Good action. And that's how you clean an AR15 using Froglube. I'm sure I could go another 1,000 rounds before cleaning again. It wasn't that bad from the 700 rounds. I hope this was educational and helpful. And as I said, I have no affiliation with Froglube. I just really like their products. Go AR15.